What if you met your own daughter, and she remembered every birthday, every bedtime story, every promise you ever made to her, and you remembered none of it? What if two women, in two different lives, both carried the scars of giving birth to the same child? In Neo Los Angeles, memory is currency. It can be bought, it can be sold, it can be stolen. But this episode isn't about memory as a commodity. It's about memory as the last thing standing between a father and the daughter he was never allowed to remember. This is episode 4. This is the girl with two mothers. Her name was Aria. She was 17 years old, lived in two different homes, and remembered two different mothers. In one life, she had grown up in a luxury tower above the clouds, high enough that the storms broke beneath her window instead of above it. Her mother, in that life, was a NeuroVault scientist named Dr. Lena Vale, brilliant, precise, and always just slightly out of reach, the way powerful people often are to the children who love them. In the other life, she had lived in Sector 31, in the lower districts where the light came late and left early, with a transit mechanic named Mara Quinn. That home smelled like engine oil and rain. That mother sang off key. That mother stayed. Both childhoods felt real. Both mothers had photographs, curling at the edges from years of handling. Both mothers had medical records, sealed and stamped by different hospitals in different districts. Both mothers had scars from giving birth, the same kind of scar, in the same place, as if the body itself refused to lie. And according to the city's genetic registry, both women were Aria's biological mother. That should have been impossible. When I met Aria, she recognized me immediately, not the cautious recognition of someone piecing together a resemblance, the immediate, total recognition of someone who already knew. "Dad," she said. The word struck harder than any weapon I had ever faced in this city. I searched her face for something familiar and found it. In her hazel eyes, almost identical to my own, in the shape of her brow, in the way she tightened her jaw when she was afraid, a gesture so specific it could not have been coincidence. But I felt no memory of her, no first steps, no birthdays, no voice calling to me from another room in a home I couldn't picture. Nothing. Just a stranger's face wearing pieces of my own, and a word, Dad, that I had no right to hear and no memory to answer it with. Aria did not cry. She had already mourned me once, and grief, once fully spent, does not return the same way twice. She explained it slowly, carefully, the way someone explains something they've had to explain to themselves first. Lena had hidden her inside a manufactured life after the echo chamber incident, an event none of us fully understood yet, but one that had clearly cost this family everything. Mara Quinn was not a false mother, Aria insisted. She had willingly accepted a complete set of implanted memories, every one of them chosen and placed with care, so that Aria could grow up loved and hidden and safe. The second childhood was not a lie, Aria said, her voice steady in a way that felt older than 17. It was a shelter. Milo warned us that NeuroVault was approaching. We didn't wait to find out how close. We fled into the Forgotten Zone, an abandoned district where the digital infrastructure had been stripped out entirely after a memory plague outbreak decades ago. There were no holograms flickering over the streets here, no advertisements bleeding light across the walls, no networked cameras watching from every corner, the way they watched everywhere else in this city. There was only silence. Silent buildings, hollowed out and patient. Old sunlight, filtered gold through decades of settled dust, falling through broken windows like something forgotten on purpose. For the first time since I had known him, Milo could not see what came next. "The future is quiet here," he said, and there was something almost like fear in the way he said it. Inside an abandoned school, desks still arranged in rows, a chalkboard still holding half a sentence no one would ever finish. Aria opened the crystal we had taken from Cassian Rook. It held a map to the archive, but the path inside it was encrypted to my neural signature, and mine alone. To unlock it, I had to recover a memory of Aria, a memory I didn't have, a memory that had been taken from me before I even knew it existed. She placed her hand in mine and transferred one of her own. A small apartment appeared around us, built entirely out of someone else's remembering. I was younger, kneeling beside a child's bed, kneeling, Aria was 5 years old, small under the blankets, afraid of the thunder rattling the windows. I told her that thunder was only the sky, remembering how powerful it used to be. She asked if memories could disappear. I promised her they could not. When the vision ended, I was crying, and I didn't fully understand why until I did. The memory felt real because it was real. I had loved her. I had knelt beside that bed and made that promise and meant every word of it. And someone had removed that love so completely from me that even the grief of losing it had vanished along with it. Not just the memory, the ache of the memory's absence. A theft so total it left no scar behind, which somehow made it crueler than any wound that heals visibly. The archive map unlocked, but so did something else. A hidden signal awakened inside Aria's mind, something buried so deep even she hadn't known it was there. Her body went rigid, her eyes turned toward me, open, focused, and utterly without recognition. In Lena's voice, not Aria's, but unmistakably Lena's, pulled up from somewhere inside her own daughter's mind, she said, "Elijah, you were never supposed to find her this soon." Then every dormant machine in the forgotten zone powered on at once. Ancient screens, untouched for years, filled with the same image, flickering to life in perfect, terrible unison. Lena Vale, alive. She spoke through hundreds of speakers at once, her voice arriving from every direction and no direction at all. The archive is not a place. The ground beneath us began to vibrate, a low hum rising up through the concrete like something waking from a very long sleep. It is a person. Milo looked at Aria, and for the first time, I saw something on his face I had never seen there before. "No," he whispered. Lena's image smiled sadly, as if she had been waiting a long time to say what came next. "And you just woke her up. If this episode gave you chills, imagine what's coming in episode 5, because the archive is no longer a secret. It's awake, and it knows exactly who Elijah Cross is." If you're new here, this is The Memory Merchant, a cinematic sci-fi series set in Neo-Los Angeles 2089, where memories are bought, sold, stolen, and sometimes stolen back. Subscribe now so you don't miss episode 5. Drop a comment telling us who or what you think the archive really is. And if you want to support this series, hit that like button. It genuinely helps this story reach more people. Elijah Cross will be back, and so will we.